This is the book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. To your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the book.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on SportsGrid. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell Coast to Coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage
This
Late
sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on sports.
Welcome in, live right here on SportsGrid. It's Game Time Decisions. We are with you on a Thursday night. Plenty to get to. Light baseball card, 3 games in the W. We have Eastern Conference Finals Game 2, Western Conference Finals Game 1 in the NHL. And I want to talk about the Western Conference Finals in the NBA quite a bit. Wasn't here Wednesday, won't be here tomorrow. Want to set the deck and talk about what we've seen. But I figured we'll keep it out west for that quick pick because we will begin the series between Edmonton and Dallas. And I'm looking for goals here. And I'm a little surprised at what we've seen happen with this total. Started at 6.5 this morning. Bet down. 5.5 minus 140 appears in some spots. I played the 6. I played it over. I played it at minus 112. Happy to play it. Each of these teams have started their series with 7-goal games in each of the 2 rounds they've played so far. We go back to the regular season, 7 goals, and a 5-0 Dallas win. I am not expecting that carbon copy performance. I'm really happy to get this 6 here. Again, I wasn't expecting it. If it's a push, it's a push, right? But if it's 3-3, it's an automatic win at that number. You can get 6.5 at a plus price. I didn't think it was plus enough. I was a little tempted to buy over 7.5 goals, flirting with almost plus 300 on that prop. I think this game tonight could be 5-3, 5-4, either direction here. Dallas the favorite, the Stars. A lot of people high on this team. I'm sure people playing their money line tonight at underneath minus 130. I think it's their defense that has people keeping this game under. Probably more people expecting a 3-1, 4-1, 3-2 Dallas type of victory. I think both of these teams can touch 3 and play us over the 6. This is one of the big games tonight. Again, that other is going to be game 2 in the Eastern Conference Finals. But I think it's important we talk about game number 1 from the West. While I wasn't with you here on Game Time Decisions, we previewed this series a bit on Tuesday, and certainly I sent out some juice for the people, and we were paid back handsomely yesterday, which we love to see. Luka Doncic, Kyrie, 60+, but that's neither here nor there. It's about assessing what we just saw in game number 1. We saw 108-105 Dallas Mavericks upset, and we saw the Mavs now positioned as West favorites at minus 164. And I thought this was such a fascinating game going in. When you set the stage, both of these teams needed the game, but there were also kind of built-in pillows if it was a loss. What do I mean by all this? Well, the Mavericks needed this game because they need to win a road game, and all of those Game 7 trends said that this would be as good of a chance as possible. So you need to come out of the gate and grab the first one. Now, the cushion for Dallas is it's still a road game. You're an underdog. You haven't won Game 1 yet in any of the series that you've played so far. So a loss here, sky isn't falling. If it happens, right? But for Dallas, it was important to grab the game. But Minnesota, same was true. For the Timberwolves, the cushion, the pillow of it all is, look, if we lose, it's a Game 7. It's a hard spot. It's a tough spot. But a loss means you are falling into the trends that suggest coming off of a 7-game war like the Minnesota Timberwolves are, you are going to lose this series to Dallas. The real saving grace for the Timberwolves is a 5-1 record in this postseason on the road. So again, a really interesting stage was set heading into Game 1. Figuring out who should be sick to their stomach was always going to come in the postgame and the specifics. Again, either team losing was going to be tough, but how did you lose? Why did you lose? And what did you leave on the table? Minnesota left a nightmare on the table. They lost to Jaden McDaniels game. Jaden McDaniels with 24 points. Jaden McDaniels in this postseason before last night, when he scored 12 or more, we saw a 4-0 record for Minnesota. They won 72% of the games, 72% in the regular season where McDaniels scored 12 plus. They come out here tonight or yesterday and lose that game. Jaden McDaniels made 6 threes. The Mavericks made 6 threes. Nightmare. The Timberwolves become just the 5th team in NBA playoff history to win the three-point battle by 12 or more and lose the game. And you look at the prior 4 teams that happened to, a 1-3 record in that series, and the one team that did win was an Oklahoma City-Houston series that went 7. And if you're a bubble conspiracist, which I am certainly not, but if you are, it did happen in the bubble. The other series finished in 6, in 5, and in 4. It's a bad sign to have that much of an edge on the three-point line and not put a win on the board. It should never happen. And it did. It's the type of stuff that makes you go panic mode, full, scale it to 10. What's going to keep Minnesota Wolves fans, players, coaches, and backers at ease are the performances from the stars. The thought will be, this will swing. Luka 33, Kyrie 30, Anthony Edwards 19. Let's start with Luka Doncic, because this is the simplest of the bunch. Expect this. Expect Luka to average 30 a night in this series. Luka Doncic, last series against OKC, was under 25 points per game. That's the outlier. It is the first time in his playoff career he averaged less than 29 points per game in a series. He has 4 different series where he's averaged over 30. He has the second highest points per game postseason average, only behind Michael. Expect this from Luka, whose 33 last night is the fewest points he has scored against Minnesota this season in his now 3rd matchup. They can't guard him. I know Jaden McDaniels is great. Rudy Gobert's great. He just played Jokic. He couldn't guard him. It happens against the greats, and that's what Luka is. So expect this. Well, Kyrie's 30 can't happen. 2 games, 2 30 balls so far for Kyrie against Minnesota. The idea is, well, he was shut down in the second half. So what? What Kyrie did last night is what he's done all postseason long, but in reverse. Kyrie has typically basically not scored in the entire of these first halves and lit it up in the second half. He flipped it. 24 in the first half. Always kept Dallas in range. Luka closed the door in the fourth. But Kyrie Irving, I'm not telling you he's going to average 30, but Kyrie had a points per game prop at 20.8. Disrespect. It's up to 24. It's probably still light. He averaged 25.5 per game. But people believed that Kyrie would be shut down by Ant Edwards. Uh-oh. That was a mistake. Anthony Edwards with 19, 11, and 8 certainly filled it up elsewhere. But Anthony Edwards last night, 6 of 16 from the field, but 5 of 12 from 3. Anthony Edwards last night finished 1 of 4 from 2-point range. What's more concerning, the one make or the only 4 attempts? The idea that Anthony Edwards is going to come out here and average 30 a night and guard Kyrie Irving is preposterous. It's not going to happen. Anthony Edwards, I said it preseason, top 10 player in the world. You might think that's not a hot take. Go back and find anybody else that was saying it in those top 100 player rankings. He's great. 30 a night. Guard Kyrie. It's a lot. It's tiring. And the evidence is building. 4 games now for Anthony Edwards, with 3 of them having less than 20 points, shooting 36% from the field. I'm not telling you he won't have a great game in this series, but he's done averaging 30 a night. And Derek Lively looks like a huge swing. At plus 750 to lead this series in rebounds, there could be some juice. We'll talk Eastern Conference Finals next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament, also seeking his first PGA Tour victory. He went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in 2, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors. But Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Back right here, it's Game Time Decisions. Let's make it happen here. I just want to quickly, the Derek Lively thing that I mentioned as we were going to break. Lively with a great rebounding start to this series, 11 boards. Gobert only with 4. Now, Luka didn't have a great rebounding game, so Rudy kept an edge. Lively moved up to the second choice. I'm a little interested in Lively at plus 750. Look, Rudy should bounce back, no doubt. But Derek Lively is clearly now the best big on Dallas. He's a plus-minus monster, and there is a chance his minutes could be elevated. Derek Lively played 11 regular season games with 30-plus minutes. Over that 11 games, he was averaging about 33.5 minutes a night. In those 11 games, he was averaging 11.5 rebounds per game. He only has one playoff game with 30 minutes. That was Game 6 against OKC. He grabbed 15 boards. If Derek Lively starts to break his minutes mold, look, his rebound props are light. So, that'll be 7.5 next game, plus money. We see it's out there. We see it. But plus 750, if he's up now, can average double digits in the series, and Rudy potentially struggles, not struggles, but just struggles to make up the gap, right? You're one more bad Rudy game away. It's something to look at. I haven't played it yet. As always, at the Kevin Walsh, anything I get involved with tomorrow's Minnesota-Dallas game, I will let you know. Now, let's do some Boston-Indiana. The road wins bet hates this series because we almost stole one in Game 1. Can the Pacers bounce back here? I am a little worried. I do not enter this game with a ton of conviction. I was talking with someone yesterday, and I was caught up probably in the same conversation that so many of you were having. Boston played bad, Boston played bad, Boston played bad. It's not that Boston played bad. Boston was bad in the fourth. Tatum was specifically bad in the fourth. And they were unbelievably lucky to win the game. But I don't know if I would say Boston was bad. It's that the Pacers were pretty damn good. And the question is, can the Pacers do that again in Boston for a second straight game? I'm tempted by under tonight. I haven't played it. I don't fully trust it. And again, that is on me. Maybe I should just be willing to take that leap of faith. But I can't get there because I see the world where Boston rolls. Boston has, everyone's mentioned they've lost Game 2 in each of the series. Yes, they did. But they also opened both series with routs of their opponent. They beat Miami by 20 in Game 1. They beat Cleveland by 25 in Game 1. So if this yesterday, or if the game on Tuesday was a Pacers win, we'd probably be talking about a Boston rout. It's tough. I couldn't get there. But I could get there on some props, and unsurprisingly, they involve Jason Tatum. Look, I've talked a lot about the way Tatum has burnt me in props, but I really do not care because this is a Tatum series. 36-12 in Game 1, no surprise. I've also hit my last 2 Tatum bets, which we'll see if that can continue. The first and singular Tatum bet is for him to record 1+ points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. It's a lot. It's plus 185. The point, the rebound, the assists, right? For Tatum, we view those all as an absolute and obvious guarantee. So now we're talking about, will Jason Tatum grab a block and a steal? Well, that same game parlay pays out at under plus 120. So we are at the minimum doing a nice job getting better value on that prop. The steal is minus 320. I am admittedly not in love with the steal, but I am with the block, which is minus 130. Tatum to get a block did not cash in Game 1. I was thinking about betting it because he didn't get a block in Game 5 against Cleveland, and we haven't had back-to-back playoff games without a block from JT. But when you're transitioning series, maybe that changes. Now, 2 straight against Indiana, 3 straight overall, I'm doubting that. So since I like Tatum for the block, instead of playing minus 130, I'll go almost 2-1 by adding in the steal. The point, the rebound, and the assists, those are free, let's be honest. That's your first Tatum bet. Your next Tatum bet is for him to lead the first quarter in scoring. It's plus 145. I'm bringing Tyrese Halliburton into the mix as well. Now, realistically, in this market, you have 10 guys, right? The starters. Now, there's a lot of guys that are easy to move off of. Nembhard, Horford, Nesmith. I don't even think he has a price, right? These guys are all pushed aside. The reason I'm playing Tatum, and if I had to only play one guy, I would play JT, is because if you just offered me Tatum to outscore Halliburton, I'd love it. Tatum to outscore Jaylen Brown, I'd love it. I think Jaylen Brown could go under, and Tatum tonight could give us double digits, something he has routinely done in the opening quarters since Kristaps Porzingis has gone out. I was a little tempted by adding Derek White into the mix, but his number was 17-1. It crashed down to 11-1. He scored 5 in game 1 to bounce back for double digits here in game 2. I was happy to leave him out. I didn't get a good enough price. I did add Halliburton as some protection, if you will. Tyrese had huge first quarters against the Knicks, or he would only score 3. He scored 3 in the first quarter against Boston. This is an important game. Halliburton coming out firing wouldn't surprise me. And if he does, he's going to make 4 threes, and he's going to score 12 points, and he's going to cash a plus 700. The next bet that involves Tatum is the triple-double. I'm going any player to record a triple-double 12-1. I know I was only betting Halliburton and Tatum in game 1. Now that here we're in game 2, we're getting 12-1. This same bet was plus 850 in game 1. What are we doing? I know Halliburton and Tatum weren't close, but all of a sudden I saw Pascal, Drew Holiday, maybe Derek White flirting with those props. I'm happy to bring in the entire field here. Any player for a triple-double at plus 1,200. Favorite bet tonight is Al Horford in a bounce back over the 2.5 assists. Even money. 15-4 on this number in the regular season without Kristaps. While he's only 3-4 overall without him in the postseason, he's 3-2 at home. He was 3-1 before last game's home game loss. He bounces back here at an even price. Let's get Al for 3 dimes. Hockey, WNBA. It's next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in 2, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Back with you right here on SportsGrid. Major League Baseball, just 2 games left. Tigers, Jays, O's, White Sox. For me, I'm going with a Gaussman Flaherty 5-5 strikeout prop parlay at -120. This is a good spot for Gaussman. I was trying to figure out ways to back him. For 5+ Ks, I feel good. Flaherty has struck out 5 batters in every single start. Yes, it would, of course, be gut-punching if he didn't do it here against Toronto, but he's been awesome, so we're going to pair him together as we get involved in that game that starts in about 15 minutes. The ice tonight is certainly important. Just to pick up the pieces from the game between New York and Florida yesterday, for the Rags, look, it's disappointing to lose at home, of course. And it's scary, probably, to be down for the first time this postseason. The Rangers have not only won Game 1, the Rangers have taken 3-0 series leads in each of the first 2 rounds. Now a Panthers team who were series favorites, led the league in goal differential, just took one off you in your building to go up 1-0. It's a new feeling. It's scary, but the Rangers have shown their ability to win on the road. Won both in Washington and won 2 out of 3 in Carolina. Now, you got to get the next one, right? You're not looking to do that role reversal and road wins, road wins, road wins. We don't have an NHL player road wins over. I don't know if that at all, if it's offered, we might want to get in the mix. But I think the New York Rangers, especially the way it was a weird game, empty netter, own goal. Igor's great. They should be more than fine. Very interested to look at those Game 2 prices when they come available. I know they're out there right now, but as we get a little bit closer to game. Now, we go over to Stars-Avs tonight. I'm on this over. Again, this is a moving number. 5.5 at some books, 6.5 at some books, flat 6. I'm on the flat 6 over. I actually, and I know this will sound weird to people, I'd rather play over 6, minus 112. If I lose my bet, that's the bet I'm losing at. Then over 5.5, minus 140, right? If it lands 5, I'm losing. And also, if I'm going for 6, if I push, I'll live with that. I know it's a win. It's not like this is the biggest edge for me in the world, right? If we're on the ice, we're vibing it out. You know that sometimes. But I also look at what I've seen from these teams here, and sometimes I just think we have these situations maybe where people are outsmarting themselves a bit. Oilers, Game 1 against the Kings, 7 goals. Canucks, 7 goals. Dallas in each of their first 2 rounds that we've seen so far. Avs and Knights, 7 goals. So I think we've got ourselves goals tonight here. I'm tempted to play over 7.5, quite frankly, at around plus 280. We'll talk to Joe Madden tonight. We'll talk to Dave Sharapan tonight around everything on the ice. We're going to talk to Coach James Young in a little bit, get some of his thoughts around not just the NBA, but the WNBA as well. I want to share my thoughts on the start to the Indiana Fever season. As somebody who played this team to win the title at 23-1, and is seeing that number now at 55-1, I can't sit here and say this is great. This is awesome. But I do think the 55-1 number is a bit outrageous. My frustration is not that I played 23-1. It's that I didn't have the foresight to wait. Say, tough schedule. If they lose a few, we're going to get a better number. I didn't think they were going to, flirt with more than doubling the price on the Fever, who are still minus money to make the playoffs. As I told you, I just want to go to the postseason with this roster because they're going to get better. Guess what? Proof's in the pudding. They get smashed by Connecticut. They get smashed by the Liberty. They cover against the Liberty, much more competitive. They cover against the Sun. They nearly win that game, fourth quarter lead. They cover against the Storm, fourth quarter lead. That is the toughest schedule anybody's had all year, bar none, not close. This is, by the way, odds to win the title, second, third, fourth. They've just avoided the Aces, who they'll play, by the way, in one of their next 2 games. So I am not overall panicked, but there is something to be worried about that I could be very wrong on. It's not Caitlin Clark. It's unfortunately Aaliyah Boston. She has been awful so far to start this season. There's no other way to slice it. Her on-off rating, it looks like a misprint. It is bad. They are 60 points worse when she's on the court versus when she's off it. And they're not good when she's on it. It's better. It's bad for Aaliyah Boston. It can get better. It's her sophomore year, but it has to get better. Because if it doesn't, they won't be able to improve enough on a slow start. 3 in the W tonight, 2 picks for me in the W tonight. Sun Lynx, I like this Minnesota team, but I'm going for a prop on the Suns. DeWanna Bonner, 2+3s. She's only made 1 through 3 games so far. Clear bounce back spot. And I'm going to go with Sab for the New York Liberty, who I believe are playing the Chicago Sky, and certainly not the Dallas Wings, over 27.5 PRA. Coach.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in two, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Oh, little Drip Bayless here. What's going on? Game time decisions. Coach James Young in the mix. JY, he does love the salmon jacket. What's going on, JY?
Oh my God! Look at my man. I look at it. Kevin about to go. Kevin, we about to go to church. We about to go to church.
Listen, it is draft season. Last year, every time we brought up the Thompson twins. Amen. Every time. So, man, there's a lot of stuff to get to, Coach. I want to go through the W quickly, just because I want anything you have for tonight. Then I want to talk a little fever. I know, of course, we're going to get to the NBA for people. Just to remind people, I'm taking a chance tonight. Sabrina Ionescu. I think it's Ionescu, by the way. I heard her pronounce it the other day. Kind of threw me off.
Ionescu.
Over 27.5 PRA. Mm-hmm. I'm interested in kind of all of the categories for her, so I brought it together instead of isolating one. There's a lot of volume for Sab early, not a lot of efficiency. I think she could easily give us 20 points, which should take care of the rest. And then DeWanna Bonner bounced back, 2+ made threes at a plus price. She's 1 of 16, actually, from 3 to open the year. I think we've got a good bounce back spot. What are you betting tonight, JY, W style?
Well, listen, number one, if you look at the W and you look at the MVP rates, it's interesting that you've seen already Brianna Stewart go to third in the MVP race, and that's because of the play of Sab, but also the play of this one. I'm going double J, Jonquel Jones, double-double. Double-double in 2 out of the last 4 games, right? Other 2 games, K-Dub, she got the 8 rebounds. The Liberty are the number 1 rebounding team in differential in the WNBA. You know who's up there in the top 5? Chicago. And if anybody knows what happened, people remember this. Chicago beat them in a preseason game by 50. And I think JJ has to keep Angel Reese off the boards. So I do like double J to go with a double-double. You went DeWanna Bonner. I'm going to her wife, Alyssa Thomas, over 7.5 assists, averaging 9.3 assists per game, over 2 in the last 3 games, versus a Minnesota Lynx team that Kevin and I are both big on. Shout out, by the way, Navisha College, sleeper pick to win WNBA MVP. She's balling right now. But, Kevin, they're also the worst team in the WNBA and defensive rating. You like DeWanna Bonner over 2.5 made threes. I like Alyssa Thomas over 7.5 assists. And lastly, Phoenix -7.5. Wow, they just went and got a huge win at the Aces. And K-Dub, Kalia Copper be hooping. Her points prop is 24.5. I can't touch that. They're going against a Washington Mystics team that is bad, and they give up boatloads of points. Mercury -7.5 tonight.
All right, a little Mercury action there. Copper, someone from our opening day card who has continued to pay the people if you've been betting those 3-point props. Really interested to see what we get out of Angel tonight going against a team like the Liberty, because the expectation is probably more foul trouble. I just want to see Angel Reese stay out of foul trouble and see what then she can do in a game like that. Coach, the Fever, an 0-5 start. I don't want to color your commentary at all. I have my thoughts. I want to know yours, as the Fever are now 0-5 to open the year.
They're not good. I mean, they've been in games. Like, they've had opportunities, right? But they're 0-5, and I'm looking at FanDuel right now, and they have them -188 to make the playoffs, +146 to not make it. They're struggling, Kevin, and it's going to be a struggle for this entire season because they're a young team, and they're not good. So to me, even though they've gone the gamut and they've had to play the Liberty twice, they've had to play the Sun twice, now they're going to play tomorrow night against the Sparks, which they're favorites on the road. I actually may take the Sparks on my line. And then they got to go Las Vegas. Kevin, they could be 0-7 before they head home. They could be 0-7. And it's amazing that you look at the WNBA standings, and this shows you what this league cares about. Honestly, it's ratings. Why? Go look at the WNBA and look at the fact that they've already played 5 games so far this year. Liberty have played 4. Connecticut played 3. Think about the teams that people aren't really popular. Minnesota, 2 games. Chicago, 2 games. Sparks, 3 games. Wings, 3 games. They need time to practice, Kevin. I think they could be 0-7 before it's too late.
Well, I do think that that's an interesting note, right? That they've played 5 games before the Sky have played their 3rd, and the Lynx have played their 3rd. Now, ultimately, you're saying they can be 0-7. Considering the 7th game's at Vegas, look, the reality is a win like that would be monstrous, right? But it's whether or not they win against the Sparks. Here's my thing, Coach. They got rocked by the Sun. They came back, had a 4th quarter lead. They could have won that basketball game. They got embarrassed by the Liberty. Now, they got beat up in that 3rd game. They found a way to cover a number. And then the Storm, of the 3rd best title odds, another 4th quarter lead. They couldn't close. Now, it's unfortunate. If this was a 2-3 Fever team, the conversations are much different. But, JY, the problem right now for the Indiana Fever is not 22. It's 7. Yes. And, JY, I think for the Fever it's difficult. Because if you want to be good this year, you want to make the playoffs like they're expected to, you might need to chop Aaliyah's minutes. And they did that, by the way. They weren't letting Aaliyah close for a lot of that 4th quarter against the Storm. Aaliyah played 15 minutes in that game. But you're then risking losing 2 years ago, or really a year ago if you think about it, number 1 overall pick. It's tough, JY, but she's regressing.
She is regressing, and let's be honest, getting you 8.4 points, 6.2 rebounds, and shooting 38.8% from the floor. Kevin, all of her shots are around the basket. She's not finishing. But the problem with Aaliyah is, as much as I love her, Kevin, she doesn't have a lot of lift, right? Like she's not overly strong, but she's not overly athletic. She's kind of in between. The other person that's got to be better is Kelsey Mitchell. Kelsey Mitchell, K-Dub, can be a walking bucket. Now, I'm encouraged by the fact of last 3 games, 17, 17, 17. But still, Kevin, with the 17 points last night, 29.4% from the floor. Like this girl can score. She is a bucket getter, Kelsey Mitchell, since she's been in the league. Kelsey Mitchell had scored you 18.2 points per game, but shooting 44.1% from the floor last year. Kevin, at 35.5%, that's the worst shooting percentage that Kelsey Mitchell's had since her rookie year. Caitlin Clark, folks, is not the problem. Aaliyah, Boston's got to be better, and so does Kelsey Mitchell. She cannot carry this team by herself. She needs help.
But again, Caitlin's getting better, and I told people this. I'm not going to bet the Fever 6 times to win the title, but they're minus 188 now. Their people are betting it as we're talking to make the playoffs. If they do, by that time, Caitlin will be easily one of the 10 best players in this league. I don't hesitate on that slightly. So the question is, do you want a top 10 player at 55-1? Win a round. Go from there. Now, if you're like Coach and you think they make the playoffs, bet it now. Because if they lose to the Sparks and they lose to the Aces, they're going to minus money to miss the playoffs. 100%. We're going to talk some NBA for the people next. We've got game number 2 in Boston and a recap of the Mavericks and the Timberwolves right here on SportsGrid.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in 2, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions. It's live. It's Thursday. It's SportsGrid. It's Coach James Young alongside myself, Kevin Walsh here. JY, dealer's choice. You want to pick up the pieces from yesterday's game or you want to preview tonight's? We'll do them both.
No, neither. Shout out to JB Bickerstaff. I'm sorry, brother. They let you go. But you got that check. JB, listen. I'm
not mad at this.
He deserved to be fired, K-Dub. That team quit on him. Jared Allen, bruised rib. You want a shot? Nope, no thank you. Flapjack? Nope, don't want to play. Game 7? Nope, don't matter. Donovan Mitchell? What? Down 2-1? Still can make a run in series? Do you want to play? Nah, don't want to play. Karis LeVert, nope, I don't want to play. They turned this guy off. And it was obvious that if they weren't going to make a run, that he was going to get fired. But you set the guy up for failure by taking the last game so you play Boston in the second round rather than maybe playing the Knicks. I don't get it. I don't get it. He deserves to be fired, but that whole organization is a hot mess. A team that got punked by the Knicks last year 4-1 thought that Max Strus and Georges Niang was going to get you to the title. Huh? A team that did nothing at the trade deadline to try and give this team a chance. Huh? Now they got to start over. But that's okay, K-Dub. I got the guy. You got a guy? I got a guy. Kenny Atkinson. Shut it down. Should be the next coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
So on JB, I think it's interesting because they made the second round and lost to Boston without a lot of key guys. So the result of that series shouldn't be super surprising, right? Getting down to the 4-5, you're right. It always kind of lended them to get to the second round. I wonder how much of JB being moved on from is because they are aware the roster doesn't believe in him, which I know people don't like, but it doesn't mean that you don't have to react on it. But the bigger question is, how much of this roster is going to be there? I now believe, based on some of the reports that we're seeing, Jarrett Allen will be gone, Garland will be gone, Donovan Mitchell stays. I think Donovan Mitchell is basically going to grab a lot of control of the situation in Cleveland, okay? And I think Donovan's fine with that. Donovan Mitchell played in Utah and was fine with it. He had his eyes set on the Garden. But that dream has passed him by. The Knicks hit on Brunson. And that's what happened. Realistically. They had an in to sign Jalen, and they hit on him. So that dream's gone. Staying in the East is in Donovan Mitchell's best interest. It is. He's young. Does he really need to rush to L.A. and play alongside LeBron? It'd be interesting. Again, I think those are the only options that would really interest him because he'd probably believe he can win a title with LeBron and then be the face of the Lakers post-LeBron, or playing in Brooklyn because it's, I want to play in New York no matter what, and the Knicks aren't on the board. I am curious, Coach, just because there is a thought that the Knicks could use a second star. Where are you? Is there any interest in Donovan Mitchell?
No. Because, Kevin, I don't know if the two small guard lineup works in the NBA. You would have to have two ridiculously defensive forwards, but then you can get beat that way. I don't think it works. I think the Knicks is trading Randall and deciding. And remember, folks, OG, it said today in New York, and it ain't a slam dunk OG's coming back either. And they're probably losing Hartenstein because Hartenstein will get big money because the Knicks will only give him $16 million a year. Somebody's going to give him 20 based on this playoffs. The Knicks are going to have to free-sign OG and figure out to play him 3 or to 4, use Randall as trade bait, keep DiVincenzo at the guard spot. Everybody knows who the Knicks want. They want Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges wants the Knicks. Sean Marks should not do that unless he gets 125 cents on the dollar. And honestly, the Knicks may be desperate enough, Kevin, that they may do it.
You wouldn't do it because it would make the Knicks kings? I mean, they kind of already are, right? I'm assuming that's why you wouldn't do it.
I think, well, the difference, they wouldn't be the Kings because Kevin Huerter doesn't need the ball in his hands to, like, go score.
Oh, no. Kings of New York. No, not Sacramento.
Oh, yeah, no. I'm like, oh, I'm like,
No. I'm talking about, are you saying you wouldn't trade him in city? That's what you're saying, right?
No, I don't think Brooklyn would trade him in city. Unless they get a blown up.
Who cares?
because I think Brooklyn is worried about that. I think Joe Tsai's worried about that because they had the city for like 6 months. But I will say this, Kevin. I will say this. If the Knicks give the best package, they should do it. I just think Brooklyn may panic. They need draft capital.
Here's one of the big issues, though, is if you're going to do that deal, and I think the McCall thing is real, you can't trade Hart or Dante. You have to fully embrace the Villanova thing.
Yes.
You have to. So it's all picks and Randall then, basically, in order to make that a reality, which is really interesting. Go ahead.
Can I ask you a question? Honestly, if they traded Randall and you put Bridges with OG and let's say they find a way to get Hart inside back, which I don't think they will, do you think that puts the Knicks as the second best team in the East? Well, probably tied with Philadelphia, depending on what Philadelphia does and who is the third starter to go with Maxey and Embiid.
I get you. So Philly might add Paul George, right? If Giannis is healthy, I think we will look at the Knicks roster and think they can win the championship. JY, if they're running out OG and McCall as their wing defenders, with Tibbs as the coach, it's a lock top 5 defense. JY, it's a lock top 5 defense. You're going nowhere, brother. You're going nowhere. We got conference finals to talk about. We'll be right back. That's on you.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in 2, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's make it happen. I want to talk Western Conference Finals, but JY, give me the picks. Eastern Conference Finals. What are you on? Game number 2, Celtics Pacers.
Oh, I'm not messing around, Kevin. I'm going right back to the over. I think this game's going to play in the 230s again. I think it's 224.5. Only one game during the regular season between these two teams went under this mark. Indiana's going to do what Indiana's going to do, but it also means it doesn't get stopped. I'm going over 224.5. Next, Pascal Siakam. Over 2.5 assists, game number 1, plus money. Got the 6. Now, game 2, it's over 3.5. and even money, I'm going back to a K-Dub because I think Pascal's got to be the secondary ball handler to create, because I think that they don't want to allow it to be Halliburton. This is a very underrated passer. 7 of the last 8 games, I do believe, versus Boston. He's gone over this mark. Give me Siakam over 3.5 assists. And lastly, Peyton Pritchard. Hear me out, folks. It was over 1.5 plus money. Nailed it in the second quarter. Kevin, he's going to get the attempts. If the game is close, he's going to get the minutes. And if it's a blowout, he's definitely going to get the minutes. He's still going to be in the game because he's the backup point guard. Peyton Pritchard, over 1.5 made threes.
I think Pritchard's interesting. He didn't have a lot of volume in game 1, but if you get that blowout, you would obviously expect that to extend. I told you I'm a little worried on the total overall, but I don't have enough to play the under. Certainly a lot of juice in game 1. I'll run through my picks again before this game tips off. JY, now, Timberwolves Mavericks. Now I didn't get to talk to you yesterday, sir, but I don't know. I keep sources, JY. I keep them close. You bought in on Minnesota, is what I heard. Now I'm curious what you thought about game number 1.
Wait, time out. Beep. I said Minnesota in 7, but I did say Dallas plus the 4.5 game 1 with a possibility that they could win game 1 because of Minnesota being on too much of a high after winning game 7 in Denver.
Okay.
And I thought at some point, Kevin, see, the reason why I like the plus the 4.5 is because not only that, even though I didn't bet it, I had a feeling about Kyrie. Because Kyrie in the second half of game 6 started to be like, yo, I got to score this pill a little bit, and I got to be aggressive. If Kyrie can be this Kyrie, dominating the ball, and allow Luka to be Robin sometimes, they're tough to beat. But that being said, I like Dallas minus the points. I like Minnesota minus the points tomorrow. Even up 1-1.
So you still feel good about Minnesota winning the series?
7.
Right?
I think it's going 7. I think it's going to be a dogfight.
I have a question for you. Where are you at? I'm one of very few people. Where are you at on Anthony Edwards? Because Anthony Edwards now has a 4-game stretch of 36% from the field, and 3 of the 4 games he's not hit 20 points. It looks like he's hit a wall. I'm not telling you he'll never have a great game again, but Ant giving you 30 a night looks very done to me, JY, and I think that would be concerning for people who are on Minnesota.
And I think the part of the problem is Minnesota played too slow. They got to get this guy in space and get him in the open floor where he can be creative, or get him in secondary transition where the defense is not set and he can go to work. There's a little bit of concern with him. There's also concern with the fact that I thought that Rudy Gobert was going to dominate this series, and after game 1, I'm like, yikes, may have to play Naz Reid more minutes.
Hey, let me ask you something about that.
Go ahead.
Coach, so Lively is obviously outplaying Gafford, right?
Don't change the lineup.
Kid,
no.
That's what I was going to ask you. Do you change it or it's fine?
Leave it the same, just increase his minutes. I would just increase his minutes, and then maybe, because what Lively does is he comes in and he brings energy and juice to the game. I like him coming off the bench. Same thing with Naz Reid. I like him coming off the bench. What'll be interesting what Finch does in game number 2 is you got to give Naz more minutes. Does he eat into Cat's time more? Because Cat wasn't great either in game 1. Or does he eat into Big Rudy's time? Going to be very interesting game number 2.
Or does he eat into Conley's time, go huge, but can you trust their offense without Mike Conley on the floor? Minnesota's got a lot of questions. Coach loves them, apparently. I don't know.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in two, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions. We're live. It's a Thursday night. Folks, I'm so happy to have you here. We're live on SportsGrid. I just had my mind blown by an NHL statistic, only to have it interrupted with a college baseball score update. I mean, we have it all here on SportsGrid. Joe Madden live with us on this Thursday. Joe, big game on the ice tonight. How are you?
I'm doing good. It was a fantastic game last night. If you're a Florida Panthers fan, with Bobrovsky getting that shutout. And then tonight, game one here of the Western Conference, Kevin. I can't wait for the puck to drop.
Yeah, let's start with the game tonight, and then with whatever time's left, we can talk about yesterday. Joe, what do you look for here on a money line with the Stars as favorites over Edmonton? I think Edmonton's first time as a dog, maybe all postseason.
Yeah, and it makes sense. They're the dog coming into this one because you look at the Dallas Stars, and they are so deep out there, Kevin. I think this team can absolutely take this series. I've sprinkled on the Dallas Stars in 5 and in 6 games to take this series. I think they have every opportunity. I've also got a couple other series bets, but when it pertains to tonight, I think this is the game. The Edmonton Oilers absolutely come out and get the win. We look at Jake Ottinger in game 1 versus Colorado and game 1 versus the Vegas Golden Knights. Both of those teams were able to hit him and hit him hard. Those goals came in nicely, and I expect Edmonton to be able to do the same here in game 1 tonight with Jake Ottinger coming in a little rusty over rested. So give me the Edmonton Oilers here. We're getting plus money on them on the money line. You got to think this team is riding high right now coming into this matchup. They're coming in off game 7. A lot of people thinking this is a letdown. Not for this team. This is what fuels this team, is being so strong in that last game. I do think they come out here and get the win, and I'm going to take the plus money on them, Kevin.
All right, so some plus money tonight on Edmonton. Now, this series is full of talent on the offensive side. What are you looking for props-wise tonight, Joe, with Stars-Oilers?
Yeah, you got to look at Wyatt Johnson here of the Dallas Stars. This young kid has been absolutely phenomenal out there on the ice. 7 goals and 4 assists, 11 points in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. And then when we look at the Edmonton Oilers, it's got to be Leon Draisaitl. Now, we know Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and Evan Bouchard really have been leading this team. And when we look at Draisaitl here, he's had 8 goals and 16 assists, total of 24 points in the first 2 rounds. I think his 2+ points at plus 128 is a fantastic way to go. Now, I took the Edmonton Oilers tonight, Leon Draisaitl and Wyatt Johnson, and parlayed all 3 of them together, all 3 of those bets. It comes out to plus 508, Kevin. And I do think every single leg has the opportunity of hitting in this one. Now, while Wyatt Johnson's 1+ points is juicy at minus 154, outside of the parlay, you could even take this for 2+ points. We saw him in some of those games get that opening goal and get the finishing goal versus Vegas. So I do think he has every ability to get 2 points out there. He's going to get that ice time. And I do think this becomes a higher scoring game as the Edmonton Oilers fire away, and Wyatt Johnson will answer back out there for the Stars.
Yeah, listen, we know that Draisaitl has been super consistent. You know, someone reached out to me today because I was on a McDavid goal scorer prop in Game 7. Just, hey, you're going to look to run it back. And that was kind of a spot. It was an elimination. It didn't win, right? But knowing me, I love a bounce back spot. I don't really know what to make of the McDavid goal stuff, Joe. Again, I'm well aware, 100 assists, 32 goals this season. I know that's where he makes his mark, but he is now into this postseason with just 2 goals. It feels pretty light for still someone of his talent level.
Yeah, it absolutely does. And the problem here is looking at Connor McDavid for that goal tonight or for that point tonight, the books are going to juice you. You're not getting the value. And I can't just bite at it, especially when Leon Draisaitl has been the one getting those goals and Connor McDavid's been getting the assists. So it's a hard one to bet. There's a couple of series bets that you can bet before going into this game for Connor McDavid to score 1+ points in every game of this series. I do think something like that is playable for Connor McDavid because I do think he's impactful in every single one of these games. Something I do like better, Kevin, is I don't expect any game in this series to have less than 4 goals. You can take every single game of this series, and it doesn't matter if it ends in 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 for 4+ goals, and that's coming in at plus 144. I know Jake Ottinger is fantastic in goal, but the Dallas Stars can score, and the Edmonton Oilers will catch Jake Ottinger in a couple of these situations. I don't expect even a 2-1 game. It's going to be a 3-1 game, I think, with an empty netter coming into play if we get those low-scoring games. I'm just not seeing the 2-1. So I'm taking 4+ goals in every single game of this series. That's coming in at plus 144.
You know, that reminds me of something, though, Joe, and this is kind of, I guess, more big picture here, and you'll understand the specifics better than I would, but so far in these playoffs, right, you're on Draisaitl tonight for 2 points, right? And he is so far the points leader for this team. 8 goals so far, right? As well. I know Hyman's the lead scorer, but he only has 2 assists. When we talk about the Conn Smythe, McDavid is the favorite at plus 600. It's Draisaitl at plus 850. Does that feel correct to you? That McDavid has enough of a gap right now in front of Leon?
No, it should be Leon Draisaitl in front. And you've got to think, he feels like he's standing in Connor McDavid's shadow. His contract is coming up. You got to question what's going to happen to Leon Draisaitl next season if he's going to stay with the Edmonton Oilers, especially when people talk about the Oilers. They talk about Connor McDavid first. And you said it, Kevin. Leon Draisaitl has been the difference maker so far in the playoffs and in the regular season. I know Connor McDavid is fantastic out there on the ice. You can never count him out. But Leon's playing a better season. So I don't know. I'd be kind of jaded if I was him.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because, I know in the NBA, people always expect it to lean towards the best player. But also, Joe, if I'm not mistaken, the Conn Smythe is over the course of the full playoffs, right? It's not just about the Stanley Cup final. So Draisaitl does have a clear edge at the moment, but McDavid is always expected to make up that edge. So what did you take away, Joe, from yesterday's Eastern Conference Finals opening game? For me, it's disappointing for the Rangers. It's new territory because they've taken 3-0 leads in each of the first 2 rounds. But I don't think it's full panic mode. This is a team that's only lost 1 road game so far in this postseason.
Exactly. And my inbox was full last night, Kevin, of people saying the Rangers are dead, the Rangers are done. There is no way the Rangers are done out here. They came out rusty. You look at those shots on goal. The Florida Panthers able to hold the New York Rangers in the first period to only 5 shots, 7 in the second, and 12 in that third. So it was the third period. We finally saw what the Rangers really have out there. Neither team was able to score on the power play. Both teams came out with strong kills. I do think the Florida Panthers played an excellent game and nothing against them, but I don't see this series being easy. I see the zigzag effect here. I think the Rangers take the next one at home in Madison Square Garden. They can't go back to Florida down 0-2 in this series, Kevin. It will be an absolute disaster for the Rangers, but I will still hold out hope. I don't think this is going to be easy for either of these teams to be able to win the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, I think it should be a long series. I think Florida's, from what I can tell, better, right? But it's not they're now over minus 300 to win the series. It is clear the books do not love this Ranger team. Joe, before we let you get out of here, there is one baseball game left with the White Sox and the Orioles. Are you going to bet that game tonight?
Yeah, absolutely am. I'm going to look at the Chicago White Sox here with that beautiful plus money as well, Kevin. The Baltimore Orioles are having their struggles right now. Grayson Rodriguez coming out and Mike Clevenger getting the start here for Chicago. I just have a feeling with how the Orioles are struggling versus righties that Chicago can come out and get the win. High scoring game though, 5-4 style win for Chicago in this one. So the over 8.5 I think is in play too, Kevin.
All right, looking for some juice there, Joe. We appreciate it. As always, best of luck. Up next, we're going to talk to Brady Cannon around the Charles Schwab Challenge because we had a pre-tournament favorite underneath plus 300. You already know who it is. We'll talk about that next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in two, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back. It's Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh, joined now by Brady Cannon. And Brady, it's great to talk a little Charles Schwab. And I know sometimes it's on me. I can be repetitive with the golfers that stand out. but it is not my fault that Scottie Scheffler was underneath plus 300 to win this tournament, is 6 shots off the lead and still has the 4th best odds. I don't even really know where to start, Brady, with everything around Scottie pre-tournament and post-round 1. Where do you sit on it all?
Well, it was pretty wild to see the way he played today. We haven't seen that out of Scottie Scheffler and really all year, all season long, going back to January. And I didn't bet him. I didn't do anything with Scottie this week, not only the short price, and I did see it creep all the way to 3-1 prior to them teeing off on Thursday morning. I was looking at it Wednesday night, and I don't think there was a lot of activity on him because the price was so short. So the bookmakers kept drifting him up, trying to, garner some attention, but I don't think it was there. Like I say, I think he closed at about 3-1 at a lot of shops. But I wanted to stay away from him because it was such a whirlwind last week at the PGA Championship. And he goes through that entire deal with the arrest and all of that. And then, that kind of catches up to him on Saturday, and the fatigue and the mental stress, and he shoots a 73. You look at what he did the rest of the PGA Championship amidst all of that. He shot 3 of the 4 rounds at 67 or better and still finished 8th. I mean, that is remarkable. So I feel like he came back home this week and just exhaled and hugged his wife and hugged his brand new baby and just said, wow, that was a lot to handle. And maybe he'll bounce back tomorrow. Not surprising that he really struggled in day 1 because, like I say, I think he was just relieved to be out of there from Louisville, Kentucky, and back home. And he's here, close to home at Colonial Country Club in Fort Worth. So I didn't do anything with Scottie. I think his first round was somewhat predictable, not as bad as it was. You look at some of the numbers. Strokes gained off the tee, he was 14th in the field. Okay, we're fine with that. Strokes gained approach, ball striking, iron play, right? 119th in the field. There's only like 132 guys in this golf tournament. He was 119th. When's the last time you've seen Scottie Scheffler ranked that low? Putting, he was 100th in the field, and scrambling, he was 93rd. So around the greens, he was a mess. Approach to the greens, he was a mess. About all he did well all day was hit it good off the tee. It'll be interesting to see how he comes back tomorrow. But to your point that you open with, he's still 10-1 to win the golf tournament. I mean, that would have been going into this morning, Kevin, that would have been the second favorite on the board, 10-1.
But that's the whole thing just feels surreal, right? I guess he's only playing in this tournament. I don't know, looking at the rest of the field because it's in Texas. I mean, I know that Charles Schwab has some name power.
It's a historic tournament. It's the longest running tournament on the PGA Tour that's been held at the same course since 1946. Colonial's a classic. It is one of the better venues on the tour calendar. And because it's close to home, that's probably the second best reason why he would be there. If this was in, Montana, and, if it was somewhere on the other side of the country, he probably wouldn't be here. But this is, like I say, close to home and a classic course.
Yeah, and not taking a shot at it, right? It's just there's no Rory, right? There's plenty of big names that we're not, Xander obviously decided to take the week off, whatever it might be. But I don't know what to really do with the Scottie stuff because, again, I know there's other golfers, right? But he is minus 150 now to finish top 20. In a tournament, he was almost plus 250 to win. So, are you going to look to play anything with Scottie now?
I'm not going to because I kind of already have my bets. I'm doing pretty well. I've got Colin Morikawa. Okay. I've got Christian Bezuidenhout, and I've got Billy Horschel, who all shot under par today. I've also got them each for a top 20 finish. I've got Denny McCarthy, who shot even par. I'm okay with that. And I had one guy, Andrew Putnam, who blew up. So 4 out of 5, I'm still okay. At this point, I'm not going to add anything. But I would recommend a top 20 bet on Scottie Scheffler at minus 150, and I might even go top 10. It's just unfathomable that this guy's not going to finish top 10 every week that he tees it up. I'm sure he'll bounce back. This, what happened today, it might only last 24 hours. Maybe it lasts 48 hours. But I think he's going to be back. The last 2 years at this tournament, he's lost in a playoff and finished third. So, off of what happened last week, it's understandable what happened to him today, but I think he's going to be back. That top 20 price is probably pretty cheap.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot worse things you can do than a minus 150 on Scotty top 20.
To finish top 20, right?
I mean, and again, I will use this now for my whole life. We just finished the first quarter, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Like if we want to, the Chiefs were at home against the Cardinals and they're down a touchdown and you're getting a minus 150 to win the game. I don't know. It's what it feels like to me. So that's just something to keep our eyes on. You mentioned that Morikawa. We're going to, kind of hit some of these other guys, but man, with the field, this feels like it has to be the time for Colin to break through. Is that how you feel right now?
I just love the way he's playing, Kevin. He has been playing so well since the Masters, and I was not on him for the Masters because he came into that tournament in pretty lousy form for the year. And then all of a sudden he shows up and he finishes third. The putting was on fire. And what I saw was like, boy, this guy really has a taste for the major championships, and he turns it on for the majors. And really ever since then, he's been red hot, and he's been doing it with the short game. And he did it with the short game again today. Off the tee, strokes gained off the tee, he was 11th. Driving accuracy, he was 5th. We know he's one of the straightest hitters on tour. Around the green, strokes gained around the green, he was 3rd. Now, putting, he was 99th. So he didn't putt well to finish at the PGA Championship on Sunday and started out with a cold putter here today. I would expect that to turn and still finish 2 under par, still only 2 shots off the lead. I think Morikawa's in a pretty good spot.
Totally agree. I mean, that's a really tempting situation. 3 back, plus 750, and he's second right now, tee to green. That's pretty good. We'll hit the rest of the Charles Schwab with Brady next.
When it comes to betting on sports, injuries matter, and Sports Injury Central has you covered all year long with expert injury analysis and injury-based picks for the NFL, NBA, and MLB. Our former pro sports doctors have unmatched experience to analyze every injury so you know the impact of the player, team, and their upcoming matchup. Whether it's articles, podcasts, player insights, or our patented injury scores, Sports Injury Central will help you keep up with your fantasy team and make more informed wagers. So make sure you follow Sports Injury Central and gain an edge at sixscore.com.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern.
Live on SportsGrid, Game Time Decisions. Lucky to have Brady Cannon here with us for a couple more minutes. I'm sure we'll check in over the weekend at the Colonial here. So, look, Morikawa,
sold. I mean, everything you're saying makes all the sense in the world. But who else are you looking at right now in this tournament, whether that's outright or finishing position?
I tell you what, I'll go right to the top with Charlie Hoffman. I don't think Charlie Hoffman is a bad play. Now, I kind of hate to have the guy that, well, it didn't matter last week. We had the first round leader and it turned out. But you kind of hate to have the guy that goes real low on day one. And not that he went real low, but obviously he's in the lead here at 5 under. Difficult golf course. I mean, there's only 7 shots that separate he and Scotty Scheffler. But why I like Charlie Hoffman is a couple reasons. The guy's been playing pretty darn well this year. It was in Phoenix earlier, the WM Phoenix Open at TPC Scottsdale. This guy was right there down the stretch with Scotty Scheffler and Sahith Theegala and Nick Taylor and fell off at the end. But, you know, he's a tour veteran that's been around for 20 years, it seems, played at UNLV, but really has a little bit of a resurgence going to his career this year and has been playing well. So I'm not really surprised to see him come out. The other thing is, I believe every one of his tour victories, which I think is 2 or 3 in his career, has come in the state of Texas. This guy knows how to play in Texas, and playing here in Las Vegas in college. I don't know if you guys are aware, but especially during the springtime, we get a lot of wind here. So that's what we have here in Texas. We know we get a lot of wind in Texas as well. It really kicked up in the afternoon in the late wave when Hoffman was on the course, and he was able to handle it. So I think he's a good wind player in good form, and you're getting in the neighborhood of 22-1 on this guy. I'm seeing 25-1 on your first round leader to go ahead and win this thing. Maybe even consider a top 10 bet or something like that. But I don't think Charlie's a bad play. Number 1 in this field right now for strokes gained off the tee, number 1 in scrambling, number 1 in greens and regulation, 15th in strokes gained approach. And here's the whammy, 40th in putting. He didn't even putt that well. And he's leading this tournament. So if that putting improves at all, this guy ought to be in the mix. The other guy, a very similar stat line here, who's a proven major champion, is Brian Harman. And I know our colleague Cam Stewart is on Harman this week. I know a few sharp guys on Harman this week. And, you know, he's a perfect fit for this golf course, a shorter, accurate hitter who can work the ball in both directions and has a magical short game. He is 6th for strokes gained approach in this field after 1 round. Number 1 in greens and regulation, tied with Hoffman. Number 1 in scrambling, tied with Hoffman, and 44th in putting. And this guy's a better putter than Charlie Hoffman. So you have to figure the putting's going to turn for Brian Harman, and you can get him at 8-1. He's 1 shot out of the lead. I don't think that's a bad play at all.
And just to kind of, you know, take all that great information in. And I don't know if this is what happens when Scotty's not just burying a tournament right off the gate, but all the more, I think just from my conversations with you, tee to green, tee to green, tee to green. I feel like that is just kind of always what I'm looking at. And the fact that Charlie Hoffman, I get it, he's not your most pedigree guy in the world, but he's first in tee to green, has the lead, and you're getting over 20-1.
And has a history of playing great in Texas. You know, knows how to play the wind. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad play at all. I think he's being a little bit disrespected because he hasn't won in a long time. He's an older guy. And that's kind of the formula, Kevin. Look at the tee to green numbers. And then the real red flag is when the putting is at one end of the spectrum or the other. If a guy's, you know, on the top 5 in the leaderboard, like look at Tony Finau. He's 44th off the tee, 33rd on approach, 25th in scrambling, yet he's 4 under par. Why? Because of his putter. He's 9th in putting. Tony Finau has been an awful putter so far this season. That is likely to regress. And he's doing everything else pretty average, if not subpar. So I don't expect Tony to go anywhere towards the top anytime quickly. But Harman and Hoffman are just the opposite. They're doing everything else well, but right now they're carrying a cold putter. And as we've talked about, putting can change overnight, and it should for Brian Harman for sure, who's traditionally a very good putter, and it should improve for Charlie Hoffman as well.
And I want to let people know this. So basically, kind of through what we've done here and what's worked for me, I basically stopped betting these tournaments before they begin. Yeah, it's not worked for me. I'm better off taking it a day and talking to Brady. I imagine a lot of the people right now watching and listening don't have a Charles Schwab bet yet. Not bad to grab the guy who's first in strokes tee to green,
has the lead at 20+1. It's not
Kevin,
bad at all. Brady.
I've hit one pre-tournament outright and 8 in-game winners.
That's what it's all about, baby.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in two, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
Game time decisions live and in the mix right here on this Thursday night. I'm Kevin Walsh with you on SportsGrid. Make sure you find us on Twitter at SportsGrid Radio, at SportsGrid TV. I think all three of them are up and running strong in the mix for the people. I'm at the Kevin Walsh and at SportsBK Consig. That's Dave Sharapan. Dave, let me be the first to say. Well, I'm probably not the first to say unless I'm the first person to see you. Jersey looks great. Looks great.
Oh.
Looks great.
Stars.
Can we get the plate? The logo?
Yeah. Look.
Yeah. Oh, good stuff.
That's
Strong,
classic.
Dave.
Classic. Number 9. Mike Madonna back in the day. Stars tonight, Kevin. I mean, you look amazing. Is that mauve on mauve?
Thank you, sir.
What is that? Salmon on salmon? What are you working with?
Yeah,
there?
you can call it, I would say, salmon on pure pink is probably what I would say.
Oh, okay. All right. Looks good.
So,
what is this?
I got juice in the game.
What we got juice?
That's the first pick of the night. All right, so tell me where you want to start, or you want me to start? Where are you at on this total? Because that's what I'm interested, honestly, tonight more than the money line.
I think Dallas team total over. Their minimum is they're getting 3. So
right,
it depends. If Skinner stands on his head, Edmonton can win a low-scoring game. But if he doesn't, which history would indicate that it's going to be a tall task, although they played so much better defensively against Vancouver that maybe they will limit scoring chances. That's the only way. He stands on his head, the game could go under. I don't think if it's competitive, the game that they're going to play, the Edmonton's going to play, the game's going to go to the over.
So, and I know that you obviously know this, but if you are familiar enough with the sport, it is in your best interest to almost create your own numbers. I know there are people who have models. I don't have a model. I have this, right? And I was thinking about the game. I hadn't looked at a single number yet. And I went, all right, so you got to think this is 6.5. Everyone in the world's going to be on over. Could he get up to 7? Do I go under? Do I go other way? When I opened this up and saw 5.5, I went, now what are we doing?
Right.
What are we doing? And I thought back to last round, right? In the beginning of all those games, we had these light totals because we were coming off of the end of the other round and we were getting low numbers. Now, this total at 5.5, that's being posted, minus 140. But that's the primary number here on FanDuel, is 5.5. Is, to what you just said, it's a very stars number, right? Not many people are handing out Oilers 3-2 tonight, 3-1, 4-1. That's not what people are handing out. But the stars are only minus 125, right? So, again, you like under, I know this doesn't always work this way, but just go play your stars and leave it be. So I had decisions to make, right? 5.5, 140, 6.5 plus 115, call it, 6 minus 112. I'll take my push if that's what happens, Dave.
Amen.
But I don't have to lay insane juice, right?
Nope.
And I don't have to go chasing the 7th goal. But what I know is these teams have a combined 4 game ones, and they've all had 7 goals in them. So I'm good playing over 6.
Yeah, the number, it could fall 4-1 is what keeps coming into my head if Dallas wins 4-1. Because, like I said, I think they get 3. They could get 4 if Otter plays like he can play. Dallas limits rebounds, stays out of the penalty box to keep Edmonton's power play off the ice. Minimum 1 chance would be fine.
But here's the deal.
That's the play, and it could go under. But we're going to see. I mean, did you get involved with the player props? Did you do anything tonight with a guy to score a goal or anything like that?
No, there was nothing there for me. I felt here's though where the Stars, now regular season, postseason can be different, finished 3rd in goals scored this year, right? So that's an offensive team. Now everyone's telling me, well, Ottinger's red hot. That's cool. Good, happy for you, brother. This is the Edmonton Oilers. I think it's only twice this whole postseason they've scored under 3 goals.
Yep.
I don't think people. Now I could be wrong, Dave. I feel like there's a lot of people that don't like Edmonton. Oh. They don't like their brand of hockey, and they're excited to bet against the Oilers. Am I wrong?
Yeah, it's that thing about having the best player. When you have the best player, you get a lot of root against you. The Penguins for years, Sidney Crosby, people were rooting against them. So what were you going to say?
Right.
You were going to jump in there. What were you going to say?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I'm a best player guy, right? I know how to appreciate greatness.
Oh,
right?
Most unbiased man in sports media.
Thank you, brother. So listen, I think what you've got with, the idea that they're just going to hold the Oilers. Can I get a series average goals for Edmonton? Because the idea that they're going to score 2 a night is unrealistic. It's make believe. It's La La Land. It's not what's happening.
Well, I don't think in Edmonton. We're going to see very different games, like where we saw last night with Florida and the Rangers. We're going to see the similar type game, either down in Miami or in MSG. I think we'll see different type of games in this series with the different venues. Edmonton, we're going to see it, I think, a little more wide open. But you're right. The best player appreciation. I saw your tweets yesterday. I couldn't wait to see you today about the LeBron slander. I can't believe he finished behind Kawhi. I said, I can't wait to talk to Kevin. How is that possible?
It's a joke.
It's unbelievable,
It's a joke.
Isn't it?
I mean, it's listen, I know he's winding me up and that's fine, but I take that runway when it's given to me. It's indefensible. It is insane. The reality is, LeBron being his age, it should be a thing, right? When I say that, I should be like, everyone talks about how old he is and gives him extra credit. No. That voter fatigue stuff that was supposed to stop Jokic from winning 3 MVPs and hasn't stopped it, it stops LeBron from finishing against. And here's the funny thing. People keep attacking the Kawhi one, rightfully so. Embarrassing. People attack the Durant one, rightfully so. Embarrassing. But you know the one that the Lakers fans haven't wanted to attack, and this is why I can, because I'm not a Laker fan? Anthony Davis isn't better than LeBron. Hasn't been. Not a single day on this earth. If he was, guess what? I'd be asking Dave, what'd you think of the Laker game last night? Instead, I'm asking you about Minnesota-Dallas. So LeBron, who was one of the obvious 10 best players in the league this year, finishing third on Team All-NBA, is still an unreal accomplishment that most of you jabronis can't appreciate, and he still should have been better than third. Thanks for asking, Dave. Happy to talk about it.
That was outstanding. I just want to say amen. Hell yeah. All of the above, Kevin. I mean, if you're not ready to go lace them up right now, jump on the ice, take a shift. I'm fired up now. Like, we had to wake the people up. You woke them up, Kevin. That was nice. That was nice.
I'll tell you who woke up Kyrie last night.
How about that?
What were you hearing? What were you hearing around Minnesota, Dallas?
All dog. Money line dog. Plus the points dog. All the dog. Although all the buzz was on the under. Completely wrong again. These bad guys, they insist on betting a certain way, and they just keep hammering. Like tonight's game. Another under, another under, another. What did you see in this game one, or anything that you've seen from the Pacers that leads you to believe that this game's going under tonight? I don't know. They did it last night. They came with the dog. Minnesota game 2. We'll talk about that, I guess, in the next segment.
Yeah. It's, is it that easy?
Oh.
Let's leave that question in the air.
Yeah.
Because Dallas game 1, right? Oh, could it be that easy? And then you bounce back to Minnesota game 2. I guess we're going to find out. Plus a little update on that MLB play of the day. Uh-oh.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York team has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the second or third inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a one-shot lead, and he was there in 2, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
All right, let's put this to bed right now. Dave, the handle on college baseball in the room is what today?
It's probably got to find it on the side of a milk carton. I'm just saying. They didn't even know it was turned on. So there were days that you didn't even turn it on, and nobody called or sent you an email to let you know that there were games. For people that think college baseball is rad, and we know some particular guys that do and girls that do. It doesn't. Let's see. Colorado and Oakland had more handle today. All right, Colorado.
Okay.
And Oakland.
Well, what a game!
A day game.
What a game! What
How
a
about
game!
That game, right?
That was tough though. Boys in the back. Someone had some Rockies money line, so we didn't love to see that. But what a game! What a game! MLB play of the day. It's already in the door. Now I did something rare.
Okay.
It was a strikeout parlay.
Uh-oh.
Kevin Gausman for 5, Jack Flaherty for 5. Gausman had 6, I think, through 3 innings, and Flaherty has 6 on the board as well right now. We could have played all da-da-da-da-da. That's not the point. Here, I've told Dave this a number of times.
Are we back to being hot?
Oh, my God. No. Did you see yesterday? I tweeted it out. Glass now for a win. Oof.
Ow.
Oof. Made a lot of sense. Didn't work out. Made a lot of sense. Didn't work out. Here is, so I've told people this. I'm not going to do straight strikeout props until I get back stuff I'll never get back. It is what it is.
Right.
But I learned something very important from doing those strikeout props, and I'm serious about this. Everybody hates losing by the hook, right?
Yeah.
It's different. If you have Travis Kelce over 75.5 yards and he lands 75, that's disgusting.
Hurts.
Right?
Pain.
If you have Luka Doncic over 28.5 and he lands 27, you're a basket away. That's really tough. You have a guy over 5.5 strikeouts. Where's he landing? Between 4 and 7 most days. Right. You bet a guy over 4.5 Ks and he lands 4 and you're complaining. What was the alternative? He lands 3 and you lost by $1 million. What I learned from those strikeout props is it's going to be close. It really is. Yeah. So, and I've been doing this not kind of outwardly, the strikeout prop parlays for me have so far worked better than not because they're usually close. So if I can go down the ladder, not up, down it twice, props 5.5, I take it for 3+. Now I got to add a couple guys in, but it has been working out, Dave, and it worked out today. -120, but guess what? Glass now yesterday was -135. So I'm not. Why should I be scared off of a -120 parlay when I'm going to bet straights that are heavier than that?
That works. Listen, everybody's process is different. I mean, you're only putting two together to get to the -120. I mean, you could start getting 3 and 4 guys. Gets a little crazy. I would keep it to 2 if you can, max 3, but go easy on
for
that.
A play of the day. For the play of the day, yep. I just want to do 2, right? If we're call it quarter unit, right? Just to, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Because you could 4 guys in plus 250, let it run. You do what you got to do, but you can kind of mix and match those things. Now, again, you got to be ready for stuff to go wrong. I'm not telling you it's not going to go wrong. But what I'm saying is, when a strikeout prop is 5.5, again, it's going to land in the window. More often than not, it's going to land in the window. Injury, rocked, it happens, but it's.
So what are you taking it down, K-Dub? 1? So if it's 5.5, you going 4+?
So Gausman today was 5.5 and Flaherty was 6.5, right? So that's what I used today. But yesterday I had 4 guys in. It was -109.
Okay.
At 4 guys. But everybody came down multiples. Peralta, 6.5, down to 5. Okay. Max Fried, down to 3, struck out 9 through a complete game.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So But I know what I'm signing. Like, it's a lot of juice. But with strikeout props, I guess my point is, when you take an NBA guy and you bring him down, come on, how's he not getting 20? I don't know. You know what I mean? We're playing in bigger numbers.
The variance is bigger when you have an NBA player with the points prop being 24. You take it at 22 or 20, it's not that big of a deal. But when you have a variance of just like a hockey total, that's why I love the hockey total so much. They fall. I mean, this game tonight is going to fall 4, 5, 6, or 7. There's only 4 numbers it's going to fall. It'd be very surprising if it falls 3 or less, unless you get a shutout. Right. So the strikeout props, the numbers are over time, they get better.
Yes.
So we're almost to June. If it's 5.5, it's going to fall 4, 5, 6, or 7. 2 over, 2 under.
Yes.
That's that. It's so
that's what
you can stay in that window unless a guy gets hurt, bombed in the first 2 innings. If he's going to pitch 5 innings, that number's going to fall right there. And the ceiling is high. The number is low. I mean, the bottom is the floor is not that bad.
That's
what we do.
Yep.
That's what we do right here, Kevin.
So in a way, I was kind of forced. I haven't day yet, and I don't want to. Right? We had 2 games left by the time I was ready to bet baseball.
Yeah, it was slim pickings.
Sometimes, listen. So, but that's the way it looked.
I thought you might have to cover the Orioles off. The first time they got swept in like 102 series. Last time they got swept in a series was in May of 22 by the St. Louis Cardinals. They're a huge favorite tonight against the White Sox, and I was like, oh no, is he going to ask about this one? This is a pass. You can't do it.
I was thinking, Rodriguez not to get the win, but I left it alone. We'll do the NBA next.
Your gut says Miami is going to win, and you should take the over. Your gut also said your NFT selfies would only go up in value. They didn't. But your head is on SportsGrid and knows the QB is in concussion protocol. The backup has a 45 QBR against the zone coverage. The New York D has the most sacks in the league. So yeah, trust your head. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
The Cam Rising stuff last year with Utah, 3 months of pretending he was questionable with a torn ACL, ridiculous.
It's a lot of gray right now when it comes to this stuff, and we really are. When people say we're in like the 2nd or 3rd inning of sports betting, that's why I agree, because there's so many of those situations that are very, very difficult to explain to a novice.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
A surprise winner on the PGA Tour. Taylor Pendrith ends up winning his first PGA Tour win.
He was pretty darn lucky to win. Ben Coles should have won that tournament. Also seeking his first PGA Tour victory, he went into the 18th hole, the easiest hole on the golf course, with a 1-shot lead, and he was there in 2, just less than 30 feet from the cup.
Newswire, only on SportsGrid.
Devastating loss to Georgia Tech, where they made significant coaching errors, but Miami, with all of these changes, obviously looking to churn over this roster and upgrade the talent level.
Don't sleep on Rick Pitino. Listen, at the end of the day, the portal is the portal, Mike. Don't matter where you came from, it's where you're going and how much money can you get.
Inside the transfer portal, only on SportsGrid.
It was a setup the whole time. It was a setup.
Dave comes in. He starts sprinkling LeBron talk. Next thing you know, it's all over the internet. Consig,
we're
let's
blasting that
do.
thing out right now. Before I go do 2 hours of Ranieri, I got to get on the Twitter and blast that thing out. That was an all-timer. You're right.
Let's do the NBA quick.
Please.
Mavs Thunder. Let me just take this with you for your next conversation.
Mavs
right?
T-Wolves. Mavs T-Wolves. You said Mavs Thunder.
My
Thunder
man.
was on your mind. It's okay.
You're right. Mavs made quick work of that team. I wonder what this will look like. Uh-oh. Anthony Edwards,
yes.
right? First 8 games of these playoffs.
Yep.
Unbelievable. 32 a night, right? 56% from the field. Last 4 games. 3 out of the 4, he hasn't hit 20. 36% from the field. Kid might be hitting a wall. Just ask around. See if anybody else is talking about it. They're not. They're asking if he's as good as Luka. Spoiler, he's not. That's okay. And that's okay, by the way. But he's not.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Celtics Pacers. Listen, I have props. You know that. My head's in a blender. Total side, I'm in a blender. If the Pacers closed, right? If the Pacers closed with the win, it's Boston and under. But they lost.
They lost.
So I don't know what to do.
I know.
I don't know what to do.
We went back and forth today on BVB about this. P-Roll thinks it's a blowout. He said a blowout. When Boston alt line, he said alt line, 15 plus. I said slow down. Slow down. What's going to be different? Maybe the Pacers don't shoot as well as they did, but the numbers settled right where it needed to settle. And they're waiting. They're playing chicken right now. We're getting ready to get the start of the game here shortly. They didn't get the 10. They were hoping to get the 10 that they got last time. Books said, nah, not tonight. You're not getting 10. 9 max. I think the dog. Again, I just what I saw. The head in the blender thing's a great call, though, because you either change it all up and go under, or you play Celtics first half over, game over, and take the dog plus the points.
I mean, again, it's one of, everyone's, Boston's lost game 2. They lost game 2. Yes.
Yep.
They also won game 1, the other series, by 20 plus.
Yes.
So if they did lose that game like they were supposed to in game 1, I think everybody would be saying what Peralt's saying.
Yeah.
And that's probably, he's smart to be saying it.
Yeah.
But they didn't lose. So that's what I got for you. It's I don't know, man.
Is the best thing you can say. Really.
I'll add this, though.
Just take the night off. That's all.
I think because most bets, what I'm seeing, most bets are on Pacers. I think people are tired of laying with Boston, probably, right? 3 straight non-covers, 4 out of the last 5. People are a little sick of laying 11, right? People are probably sick of laying 8 guard. The entire Cavs roster sits out not covering. That's probably the tipping point, if I had to guess. All right, David Ranieri tonight.
Fatigue, just like the LeBron fatigue. Although
Which one deserved and the other an absolute joke. Shout out to the king. Consig, appreciate it. Let's put him on the board before you get out of here. Any player to record a triple-double, 12-1. It's not a bad number when you consider Tatum was 11 before game 1. So we're getting 12. We're getting the field. Tatum, top point scorer first quarter, plus 145. If I had to make one bet, it's just Tatum. I'm fading Jaylen Brown, plus I'm in on Tatum. The cover is Halliburton at 7, though, plus 700. Hallie's basically been giving you double digits or 3. The guy who blows this up is Derek White. I hope he doesn't. But those are my guys for the first quarter. Point, rebound, assist, steal, block. JT checks every box, plus 185. 0 games this year without a point, without a rebound, without an assist, so we're fine there. He's minus 320 to get a steal. That's the one I'm worried about. That's the one I'm not playing. But a steal plus a block is underneath plus 120 in a parlay. And I like the block. 2 straight without a block,
First time all postseason. Hasn't had back-to-back games without a block against the same team in these playoffs. Give me JT for the block and hope the steal comes in plus 185. And then likely my favorite is Horford over 2.5 dimes at home. 15-4 in the regular season without KP. Bounce back spot. Horford. What a little dime situation there. Oilers game over the number. We'll see you on Saturday.